So let's talk about one of the hardest things about writing, just getting started in the first place. You've probably got a great story idea in your head. Maybe you have a character you can't stop thinking about, a world that feels so real that you've been world building for years. But then you sit down to actually write, and crickets. The screen still stays empty. That wall between your imagination and the written word feels about 100 feet tall, and you have no idea how to climb it. Well, for those that are new here, I'm Brian. I've worked across Hollywood and I've worked with hundreds of writers just like yourself. And I can tell you with absolute confidence, every writer hits this exact wall. But what if I told you the secret isn't trying to write the perfect first chapter or the perfect first scene? The secret, and this might sound crazy, is to forget about writing a story altogether, at least for now. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a simple, zero pressure guide to finally getting that idea out of your head and onto the page. Now, before we get into the fun stuff, we need to diagnose what's really going on. Because that feeling of being stuck, that paralysis you feel in front of the blank page, it isn't a sign that you're a bad writer, so get that out of your head. It's actually just a universal, completely normal part of being a creative person. Every single writer you admire has definitely felt this at some point. The only difference is that they learned how to spot the enemy. And the enemy isn't a lack of talent. The enemy is usually one of four things. So see if any of these sound familiar and apply to you. First up, the big one, perfectionism. This is that little voice in your head that insists the first draft has to be brilliant. It whispers that your opening scene needs to be legendary. Your characters have to be flawless from page one, and every word must be perfect. Just as I will always call it out to you, that voice is a liar. Many have said this, and it's totally true. Perfection is the single greatest killer of creativity because it demands the impossible. The second enemy is fear. Fear of what though? Oh, you can probably take your pick, but fear that the story won't be as good on the page as it is in your head, fear that you'll mess up, fear that other people will read it and judge you, fear that you're not a real writer. This fear creates a mountain of pressure. We build up the act of writing as this monumental, high-stakes event, and it becomes so intimidating that it just feels easier not to start at all. The third enemy is an unclear direction. Sometimes an idea feels more like you're in a fog than a roadmap. You've got a cool character or a fascinating world, but you don't know exactly what happens. What you're really missing is the plot. So when you sit down to write, it feels like you're driving into that fog with no headlights. You can't see where you're going, so you just stop the car. Now, this isn't a failure. It's just a diagnostic sign about your project. It's your brain telling you that you haven't given yourself enough raw material to play with yet. And the fourth and final enemy is simply fatigue. Because let's be real, life is demanding. We have jobs, families, a million other responsibilities. I know the fatigue sets in for me sometimes even with trying to do a video for you guys. Because sometimes the real reason you can't write is just that you're plain tired, and that's okay. Creative energy is really, it's a finite source. We'd like to think it's this endless waterfall, but it really isn't. So which one is it for you? Is it perfectionism? Is it fear? A foggy direction? Burnout? Maybe it's a mix of all of them. Trust me, I've been there. But naming the problem is the first step to beating it, because once you know what you're up against, you can use the right strategy to fight back. The most powerful thing you can do for your writing, more than any fancy technique, is just to change your mindset. This starts by giving yourself permission to start badly. I want you to repeat this after me, out loud if you can. My first draft's only job is to exist. I'll repeat it again. My first draft's only job is to exist. That's it. Think of it like a sculptor's lump of clay. You can't sculpt anything without that initial lump, and you can't edit a blank page. To do this, you have to separate the creator from the editor in your brain. The creator is a wild, imaginative kid who just wants to play. The editor is a meticulous librarian whose job is to polish everything later. So your job in the beginning is to lock the editor out of the room. Get out of here! Their turn comes much, much later. The next part of this mindset shift is changing the language you use. Stop telling yourself, I have to write, or I need to write. That makes it a chore. It makes it a source of guilt. Think about how many days you've ended by thinking, I should have written today. That's negative pressure crushing creativity. Instead, try shifting your language to, I get to write, or I want to write. Frame it as a reward or a pocket of time you're carving out for yourself. So treat your writing sessions as something to look forward to and create a small reward system. Finish the session? Great. Now you get to enjoy that cup of coffee, or you get to watch an episode of your favorite show, or get to go to the movies. You're positively reinforcing the habit, not punishing yourself for breaking it. Finally, stop writing for an imaginary, judgmental audience. We do it all the time. For now, don't worry about other people at all. Write for yourself. Tell yourself a story that you desperately want to find out what happens next. The most compelling reason to write is because you are your own first reader. This reframes the entire process from a performance into an act of discovery and play. Your goal isn't to write a masterpiece, it's to make a mess. Find the fun and get the story into the real world where you can finally work with it. Okay, mindset is in place. You have full permission to be messy. Now let's actually break down that wall we talked about earlier with 3 tangible exercises. So here's how to think about it. We are not writing chapter 1. We're not writing scene 1. We're creating what I call page 0, the step that comes before the story officially begins. Each of these only take about 5 or 10 minutes. Technique 1, the brain dump. This is the ultimate pressure release valve. So set a timer for 10 minutes. Open a blank document. Now write down everything you know or think about your story idea. Now this isn't about writing beautiful sentences or really getting into it yet. Just use bullet points or fragments, single words. The goal is just to get the idea out of your head. So what do you write? Literally anything. Character names, snippets of dialogue, the name of the city, a cool plot twist, the main character's fatal flaw, weird rules for your magic system. Let it be chaotic. Let it be a glorified mess. The point is to prove to yourself that the ideas are in there. Now, when the timer goes off, stop. Look at what you have. Now, yeah, it's not the story, but it's no longer a blank page. You have some raw material that you can work with. Technique 2, the character interview. Now, this is a fun one and explains why some people think that I talk to myself. But stories are really about people. Sometimes the easiest way into a story is just to get to know the person at the center of it and let them eventually lead you through your story. So go ahead and pick your main character. Now your job from here is to be a journalist and ask them a few questions. So I don't want you thinking about the plot right now. Just instead listen to the answers and write down what your character says in their voice. Here are 5 simple questions to start that I mentioned in some of my other videos. Number 1. What do you want more than anything else right now? Not in life, but right this second. A glass of water for me to stop talking so much. 2, what are you most afraid of? Get specific, not just spiders. More like, I'm afraid of seeing the disappointment in my father's eyes again. Whoa, that got deep. 3 is, what's a secret you've never told anyone? Now this can be big or small, but it gives you sort of ammo for your character. Something that you get to be the person that gives away their secret at some point. Question 4, who do you love most in the world and why? This is great. It gives you a real backbone to your character. Who would they defend? Who would they jump in for? Who are they into? Who do they care about? And 5, what's the biggest lie that they tell themselves? Now, I love this one because it gets into an interesting psychology with your character. If they say that they're brave, but they're not, they're compensating for something. If they believe that money is the key to happiness, and that's the lie that they tell themselves, that's gonna change the way that they present themselves, what ambitions that they go after, how they interact with people. So the key to this is just letting your character talk. You might be surprised what they end up telling you. And once you have that character in place, they'll help lead you into your story. Technique 3, the opening image snapshot. All right, so for this one, forget the perfect opening line. This is where so many people can get stuck. Instead of thinking in terms of words, think more like a movie director. What is the very first image that comes to mind when you think of your story? Just a single static image, and it doesn't even have to be your opening image, just a snapshot. Now take 5 minutes and describe that image in 1 paragraph. Is it a lone spaceship drifting against the nebula? If that's the case, describe the colors, the deep silence, the strange shape of the ship. Is it a single red shoe in a muddy puddle on a city street? In that case, describe the rain, the neon glow of the wet pavement, the scuff on the leather of the shoe. Or maybe it's a queen sitting on a massive throne in an empty hall. Describe the weight of her crown. Describe the sunbeam coming through the stained glass window. Basically, this exercise is powerful because it's so small and contained. It's about atmosphere and tone, and not just the narrative. Most importantly, it gives you a concrete anchor. It's a place to begin, a place that you're comfortable with, a place that you can see, even if you can't see the rest of the pages yet. So at that point, you wrote a paragraph. You've officially started. Okay, great job, everyone. You've broken through the first barrier. You created that page 0. So how do you keep that momentum going? The answer is to build a system that protects you from your own worst enemies. Because trust me, they will come back. First, let's talk about time. So many writers wait for huge, uninterrupted blocks of time. And here's the truth. Big chunks of free time are a myth for most of us. So we're going to use a little trick called the Pomodoro technique. Maybe you've heard of it before. What you do is you set a timer for 25 minutes, not 30, 25. For those 25 minutes, your only job is to write. No email, no phone, no social media. Now, when that timer goes off, you just have to stop. Then take a 5-minute break. This works because 25 minutes isn't intimidating. It creates focused urgency, and the mandatory break prevents burnout. It turns writing from a scary marathon into a series of easy sprints with breaks in between. So next from there, you need a tool for when you get stuck while you're writing, because it will happen. Your old perfectionist brain will scream at you to stop at some point. Instead, when you hit a roadblock, just put a few X's so you know to come back to that section. Or write a quick note in the brackets like, describe the cool fight scene here, and then highlight it. And then immediately jump to the next part you do know. Point is that you're not gonna get stuck at this one scene that's causing you problems. Maybe you don't know exactly how the heist goes down, but you know exactly what the characters say to each other right after. This is the lifeline for the first draft. It keeps your momentum going. You can always go back. Finally, as your idea grows, you need a low-pressure way to organize them. Rigid, formal outlines can be super scary, and sometimes people think that they have to have their entire thing figured out before they can even start a page. So you might have seen this method. It's very popular and a lot of people use it, but it is tried and true. So instead, try the index card method. Grab some physical index cards or Post-it notes, or use a simple digital app that lets you create little blocks of text. Each card is just one idea or one potential scene. Character meets mentor. They discover the secret map, the big argument. Write one on each card. Don't worry about the order yet. Just get the ideas out. This method is really brilliant because it's visual and flexible. You can lay all your cards out on the floor or on your desk, and then you can physically rearrange them. You can take things out. You can move them to a different part of the story. It feels more like playing with building blocks than writing a formal outline. So these three systems, the 25-minute sprints, the skip ahead trick, and the index card method, creates a structure that removes the obstacles blocking your creativity as you move forward. All right, just take a second and look at what you have. Whether it's a messy brain dump, a few answers from a character, a single paragraph, or a stack of index cards, you went from having an idea trapped in your head, having actual tangible words on the page. You climbed the wall. The secret to starting is to completely redefine what starting even means. It's not about writing a flawless chapter or a flawless scene. It's about taking one small, manageable, no pressure step. It's about giving yourself the grace to be a beginner and to just play with your ideas. You might not have written a story yet, but you have started writing. And you'll look up one day and realize you haven't just started a story, you're in the middle of one. Or maybe you're right towards the end. So keep on writing, you got this. And once again, I'm Brian, this is Plot Luck. And if you've ever loved a story, felt let down by one, or dreamed of telling your own, pull up a chair, hit subscribe, and let's stir the plot together. That's a wrap.